Hey, what's up? This is Paul Murphy. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to run a live webinar event completely for free that mimics everything you can do inside of Webinar Jam, EverWebinar, GoToWebinar, all of those amazing softwares, but they're actually really quite expensive. I'm actually going to show you how to do them all completely for free. And as you can see on the screen here, this is the map we're going to use because this is pretty much what they all use. Give or take a page or two here or there, this is the entire sequence that we use. While using this, we can actually integrate it with Google Hangouts, which YouTube's got the best live streaming service on the planet. So we can now use that for free. YouTube give us that for free, so I'm actually going to show you how to set that up and integrate it into any of your favorite landing pages software. Now I'm going to be using Kartra, and at the end of this I'm actually going to show you how you can get this entire funnel completely for free. Actually for $1. I'm actually going to show you the entire campaign, actually going to show you everything, and actually going to give you training on how to import it and everything, all for free. But if you want to do this with your own landing page software like ClickFunnels, Thrive Architect, Lead Pages, Unbounce, you can literally copy this video, copy this strategy, and you'll be good to go. I'll put some timestamps as well so that you guys can actually skip to the bit that you need, because there may be that some of this you need, some of it you don't. But this is going to be a complete overview training, so buckle yourself in, because this is going to be, I'm going to show you everything you need, and I'm actually going to give you some ninja tactics if you're trying to run a live event for a sale or for a high ticket, because a lot of people are doing that. There's a few things that a lot of people leave out, a lot of people mess up. So I'm actually going to go through this as though it's a live event, and as though it's going to have like a high ticket sale on the end of it, and actually show you some ninja tactics as well, so you can kind of do that. And if you're not doing it for a live event, then you'll be able to use the whole structure for any event that you want. So let's dig in. So before we get going, just so that the reason I've created this video, I just want to show you the price points that you're looking at paying as of recording this today. So if you're seeing this later, they may have gone up. And also what sort of trials you can get. Now I'm actually got a 60-day free trial with Webinar Jam and EverWebinar, and I'll put the links down below, so you can grab those at any time. If you don't want to create this webinar yourself and you want to use like the power of Webinar Jam, you can actually have 2 months, so you can run all your live events and you get 500 participants. But this is GoToWebinar. They charge $159 a month billed annually, so you're looking at nearly $2,000. And then you've got Demio again, which for the 500 attendee, which is the one that you get with Webinar Jam, you're looking at $163 a month. In my opinion, GoToWebinar is better than Demio. It's just more robust. Okay, you've got Zoom. Zoom's really good. Zoom's a bit like Skype, so you can use Zoom for free if you want to hold meetings where everybody's window appears a bit like in Skype. If you want to actually go over the 40-minute structure, you can actually pay $11.99 a month. So I often hold meetings with my team inside of here, and there's, basically you can see everyone can talk, everybody can, it's like a conference, right? But for you to add on the actual webinar feature, it's $32 a month. And I actually did a if I can find it, currency conversion here, because it's actually in pounds because of my IP address. Works out, it might work out slightly differently if you go in the US, but it's about 55 pounds a month, so it's a slightly cheaper option, and you can do it monthly. So Zoom's really good. I really like Zoom. I think Zoom's got really good streaming. It's a really robust service. It's really good. And I've not used it as yet as of a webinar, and I know people do, and I've only heard good things about it. Okay, my favourite is EverWebinar and Webinar Jam. Okay, and you can get both of those you can actually get EverWebinar for $497 for a year, and that's 500 participants. You can get Webinar Jam for $479 for 500 participants, and then the prices go up for a year. But like I said, you can get both of those for 60 days for free, which I'll put the links down below. You can get that on me as a special deal, and I actually give you access to my course where I show you how to get free traffic. But I'm going to go over that in a bit later on so that you can see. So we're going to go, this is my Webinar Jam account we'll go into in a moment. But the first thing I want to do is I want to show you this structure and actually talk you through how this works and how we're going to set this up. So, right, so this is the structure that we're going to be using. So I'll quickly give you an overview, and then we'll dig into each page, and I'll show you how to set it up, how to structure it, how to format everything you need. So first of all, you've got your traffic source. Now, again, I've also got, at the end of here, I'm going to show you how you can get completely free access to my 997 course, which will show you how to get all the traffic you ever need completely for free. Sounds a bit hypey, sounds a bit bold, but this is groundbreaking, and this is kind of changed the way we do business. We get all of our free traffic from the two biggest search engines on the planet using this system. So I'm going to give you access to that. Again, that's not going to cost you anything, and that'll be able to make you generate all the traffic you need for your event. So whatever traffic you've got, you'll obviously have a webinar registration page, and we're going to be using Kartra, but you can use this inside of any of your favorite landing pages. Now, if you've got a website, then one of the, like for instance, if you've got WordPress, one of the plugins that you can get is Thrive Architect, which kind of emulates what you can do in ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, Unbounce, Kartra. And you'll be able to create your landing pages for dirt cheap. There's also Elementor Pro, which is another one that you can use. So if you're using it via a website, you can just get a plugin for a WordPress website that's going to be able to allow you to create landing pages. If not, if you're using ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, Unbounce, then they have templates for all of these things. I'm actually going to show you this inside of Kartra, and again at the end of the video I'm going to make this available free inside of Kartra. I'm going to show you how you can get this free without having to create it. But I'm going to show you how to create it because you might be using your own software. So first thing is that you have a webinar registration page. Now the object of this for a sales webinar is to make it simple and easy, because you may be spending a lot of money for traffic, and you obviously want those opt-ins to be quite high. So the way we do this is very simple. We basically put the big promise and we put a link to sign up for the webinar. Okay, so this is an opt-in. Then we have a webinar countdown page, and on this page we indoctrinate people. Quite often we'll say, you know, you must turn up live. There's going to be some bonuses. There's going to be some things that are going to be included live that won't be. There'll be, you know, there might be some things that they will miss out on if they don't turn up live, right? So this is your opportunity to really indoctrinate them and actually you might want to give them a bit more training so that they can get ready for the live event. And also this is a good opportunity to put a bot where you might have a bonus for signing up. So you might have a chat bot. Now this works really well so that you can actually notify them of the live event via Facebook Messenger. And if you put a chat bot on there, then you will be able to kind of literally ping them when the event's going live. And who doesn't open Messenger, right? Works really powerfully. Emails is kind of going down and Messenger's going up, so this is a really good opportunity so that they do not miss the event. Really powerful. And you can use something like ManyChat. I'm not going to show you that in this video, but you can use something like ManyChat, or Chat Fuel is another one, to create a bot, and then you literally just notify them. You can actually send them to your Facebook group using that chatbot as well if you want to get people on your Facebook group. Quite often what a good idea here is to put your bonus inside your Facebook group, put a chatbot, and then actually send the chatbot to your Facebook group, get them to sign up, and then they pick up the bonus inside your Facebook group, and then you can also then notify them of when the live event's going live. My recommendation if you're using chatbots, again, we're not going to get into that too much, but is don't over spam people, because if you send them lots and lots of emails, they'll just press stop, and that basically unsubscribes them, and then you've basically lost them. So you want to just keep this to whatever this is for now. Later on, obviously, you can notify them when you've got other events and other things coming up, but don't overdo it, right? So this is the countdown page, and this is like your golden opportunity to indoctrinate them. Now, another little tip here is if you're going to run a live event, okay, say you want to run it at the optimum time during the week, what we've found is that if you promote it on the Tuesday for the Thursday, it works really well. It's only 2 days in advance. We can indoctrinate them, we can give them stuff that will actually get them to turn up, and also it's not too far in the future. Another little tip, again, it doesn't really matter, but this is kind of just some like insider tactics that we've kind of figured out from running live events. So Tuesday's a good opportunity because people have got over the weekend, and then not leaving it too distant in the future. Thursday's quite good because when it gets to Friday, Saturday, people are getting into their with their families and the weekends and stuff like that. So Tuesday to Thursday works really well. So we'll get them registered on the Tuesday, and on this countdown page we'll obviously let them know there'll be a timer, and it will say that this event is on the Thursday, or whenever you want, obviously. Okay, and then obviously they will then get sent to the webinar. Now, if they come to this countdown page, this is what the reason why these softwares are so expensive, because they have kind of little technical things that will actually send them to different areas, and this is why we're using Kartra, because Kartra gives us this capability. So if they come to this webinar countdown page and the webinar's over, we can either send them to a page or an offer. Okay, we usually send them to a page with the offer on it, right? So this will automatically forward to this page, and it will say either webinar's over, offer's over, or here's the offer and here's the countdown for how long you've got left to subscribe. Or you can even put, if you want to, you can automatically send them to the replay. And that's obviously personal preference on what you want to do with this. And most of the softwares that we just looked at will give you similar capabilities. And obviously when the webinar finishes, we can have this forwarded, so at the end of the webinar it will automatically forward them to the offer. So if they happen to land on this webinar and the webinar is over, or they've kept this page for later, they put it in their search bar because they want to come back, the webinar's finished, right, so it'll automatically forward them to this page. And then what will happen is that as they sign up, again, we're going to send them a welcome email. We're going to send them an email 24 hours before. So if it's 2 days in advance, like Tuesday to Thursday, we're going to send them a welcome email. When it's exactly 24 hours, we send them another email. We send them another email 1 hour before, and we send them another email 15 minutes before, which actually says, we are now starting, time to hop on. And that gives them 15 minutes to grab a drink, grab a pen, grab a paper, and get going. So this is the entire structure. So so what we're going to do is we're going to go into our Kartra account now, and we're going to create this, okay? So if you haven't got Kartra, it's $1 for 2 weeks trial on me. And like I say, you'll be able to get this actual funnel, this whole funnel, and all the training and my course for free, which is here. This is my flagship course that shows you how to get 24-hour rankings on the within 24 hours on the front page of Google and YouTube. I'm actually going to give you this course, and I'm actually going to give you the live webinar funnel, and I'm actually going to give you the auto webinar funnel because it's kind of similar, but there's a couple of differences. An auto webinar is basically where you put it on an evergreen system, right? I'm actually going to give you both of those funnels for free for trying Kartra. So you get 2 weeks, you can try this out, you can run your events with it, you can have unlimited amount of people on it. You don't have to cap it at 500 because we're using Google Hangouts. You can run this and get it for free. So but I'm going to put all the links down below in the description. But what we're going to do is we're going to create it in Kartra. So those of you who've already got a Kartra account, or you've got your own landing pages, you can see exactly how this works and how we set this up. And the reason we're specifically using Kartra is because Kartra has a ability to do timed events inside of the email autoresponder, and secondly, it has the ability to forward pages when at certain times and do lots of dynamic changes to pages and stuff like that, where some of the other pages can't do that. So you may come across some limitations with some of your landing pages, but having said that, that's why we're going to use Kartra, because it can do all the things that we need to run, save us thousands on all that webinar software, right? So this is the funnel here. So just a little heads up here, if you are using Kartra to create your pages, when you create a page, it'll ask you to create a category. All a category is a funnel. So you would literally name your funnel, and then when you come into your pages here, you can choose your funnel based on, like you see, I've got quite a few here. This is the live webinar. You press go, and then it will give you all the pages inside that funnel. And then as you create each page, you can just add it to that category. It's really, really straightforward. It's slightly different in ClickFunnels and lead pages and places like that, but this is how we do it inside of Kartra. And obviously, if you get this off me, you'll get all these pages from me anyway. So I've given you a live webinar registration page which indoctrinates them. So if this is basically like from your website where we're telling them about this live webinar and this is how we're indoctrinating them, you can use this page. But like I say, I recommend using something very, very simple if you're sending traffic, because we want to basically, the main goal here is to get the email address, because we want to make sure that we're indoctrinating them afterwards. We've started indoctrinating them, we're just getting them to that next step, so we get that high opt-in rate, and then we indoctrinate them more. Okay, this is only for sales. Obviously, if it's for something else, you can use this one or this one. So I've given you both. So I'll just show you this again. So as you can see, this title here is how I get 100% free advertising space at the top of Google for competitive products. Really good title. It kind of sparks people's interest. They say, yeah, cool, I'll check that out. It's got a countdown on here. It shows them the date. Perfect. Okay, that's pretty much all you need, and that's done. And then what we want is the live webinar countdown. Now this is where we put our bot, this is where we indoctrinate them. I haven't included a bot on here because your bot will be different to mine, but this is a good opportunity for you to put a bot and put a PDF where you send them. So I'm just going to show you how to create your webinar countdown page, and then I'm going to show you the one I created. And again, I recommend creating all these as a skeleton first before you do any technical bits, because when you go back and create them, you'll be able to connect them all together. So let's assume we've done that, we've created that page, we've saved it. That's a skeleton. We'll come back and connect that in a minute. Next one we want to do is create the webinar countdown. So this is the one here. So what we would do is we'd go to add page. We then go inside of Kartra. We then go back to our webinar registration pages, and you'll see that they've got various ones here. Now this one is the one I recommend. If you see, this is very similar to the one I created. And you can basically use this one and then switch it out for the content. If you're creating this yourself, switching out for the content that you'll see inside the page that I've already created for you. And I'm going to talk you through that briefly so you can see. and I'll show you how to sort of switch it out as well. Really, really straightforward. Okay, so we're then going to go, we'd select that, we'd add it to the funnel, and that'll be done. Okay, and then the one we ended up with is this one. Again, I'm going to come back and show you this, and I'll show you how to kind of change all this out as well, so you can make it. I've made this page look very, very similar to the Webinar Jam Ever Webinar countdown pages. One, because Kartra is owned by the same people, and two, because it works, right? It like they've already tried and tested these pages and it works. So this is a really good opportunity for us to kind of emulate what already works, right? So that's done. We're going to come back and emulate that. So the next one we want to do, if we go back to our image here, the next one we want to do is the actual live webinar page. So if we come back here, you'll see that we have a live webinar page here. So this is the one here. So all I've done here is put a title at the top and included a video. There's also a chat bot on the right hand side. Now you have two options here, and I'm not saying one is better than the other. Now the chat bot, the Facebook chat bot, is just a bit of code. Now that's already included inside of here. You can get that from Facebook. It's pretty straightforward. I'm not going to train you on how to do that inside of here, because the other thing you can do is you can just forward them to your live webinar on YouTube, and YouTube's got its own chat system on the right hand side. So you can do either or. Again, this page is included in here. I'm going to show you how that works and how to get that. But if you want to just forward them to your live webinar inside of YouTube, it'll all be there. Like that, the actual real-time comments will be appearing. It'll be streaming. Super great. So you can do either or, and you know, it's much for much. I would actually recommend using YouTube because YouTube's got one of the fastest streaming platforms on the planet, right? It's really, really robust. So, but having said that, if you want to keep it all sort of branded and insane, you can do it this way. So we create this page. Again, on here, all I would do here, if you're doing this from scratch inside of Kartra, is go to something here like get a squeeze page, something like with just a very simple, or maybe a video sales page. That might be better. So just one of these pages here where there is a video on here. You can put the chat dots down below. You can put it to the side. Choose, if you want it to the side, I would recommend getting something like this and putting the chat bot in here. Having said that, that's going to be quite small. So maybe something like this would be better. You could just choose one of these pages. Again, there's quite a few of these pages. You can actually go through all these different squeeze pages, long sales pages, find something that's suitable, and then switch it out to look like the one that I've done. Or again, like you can just get my one, which is not going to cost you anything. Okay, so that's that one, and then you've got so that's that, and then we'll just go back to the diagram, and then we want the webinar finish page. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. All we do here is I'll show you this one. This is one I've got. Live event is finished, done, you missed it, register for the next event. Obviously you can put that button on there if you have got another event coming up, so maybe you're running them weekly, you can do that. You can also put the replay on here if you want to, or you can just forward them to the replay page. So it's worth having this depending on what events you're running, and then you've got it. Again, this is really straightforward. How you create this, you would literally go to page, and then you go to thank you page. Okay, and then you're going to choose something. Very, very simple. Something like that would do, and then you could just change out the word into live event finished. There may be an actual page, live event pages. Here we go. No, it's not one of them. I mean, I think I found it in here. I think it was a very oh, here we go, thank you page. This might be it. That's where I just was. We can find something very, very straightforward. I mean, like most of these pages, yeah, something like that would do it. You could just change that to say live event now finished, register for the next event. You just switch that out. Something like that would work absolutely fine. And again, like I say, there's quite a few here that you can go, and you know, there's quite a few pages you can go through here, and I'm pretty sure I didn't really do that much with this one. I think I just chose one that they already had and put that in there. again, that's available with this funnel if you want this funnel. And then you've got the webinar replay page as well, which is always good to have. That I haven't actually put that as a picture on here, but that again, because that's slightly optional. If you want to have a replay page, you can put that in your post-webinar email sequence. If you want to send them an email after 24 hours after, you can actually add an email to this email sequence saying, you know, we had a few people that couldn't turn up live. Here's access to the webinar replay page. And you can actually put a countdown on the webinar replay page to last for however long you want. So it may be that you only want that replay to be up for a day or 2 days or 12 hours. And then again, you can forward that to the live event over page. So you can actually have everything timed. And that's why we love Kartra, right? Because you can do all of this kind of in-depth integrations, which you can't do with some of the others. So that's going to look like this. And now we've created all the skeletons. So we've got the event over, we've got the registration. We've actually got 2 registrations inside of here. But we've got a simple registration. We've got the countdown page. We're probably going to put a bot on there so that we notify them. We've got our live webinar page where we're either going to send them to that or to the YouTube. And then we've got the webinar replay page. And that's pretty much the entire system. The only thing next to do is to do the email sequence. But what we want to do first is we want to configure this. So for those of you using Kartra, now if you're not using Kartra, or if you're going to grab this funnel off me and with your trial of Kartra, I'll put the link on the screen. You can go and sign up for Kartra $1 trial. You can get this for free. If you've already got Kartra, you can actually get this inside the Kartra marketplace. So come over to my campaigns and then you go to the marketplace. Okay, and this is where all the funnels inside of Kartra are available. There's some really good funnels inside of here. These are all the ones that I've got available. And you can actually purchase the live webinar or the auto webinar funnel here if you've already got Kartra. If you haven't already got Kartra, sign up for a 2-week free trial. It's full access. It's not limited access. You get 2 weeks free trial. And with that, I'm going to give you the live and the auto webinar funnels. So you get those completely for free. So, so what we're going to do now, we're going to go back into... And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to configure all of these. Now, there are going to be limitations inside of some of your landing page software because I know for a fact that some of the things you won't be able to do exactly inside of ClickFunnels. Some of the things you won't be able to do inside of lead pages, and some of the things you won't be able to do inside of Thrive Architect. Having said that, there is a workaround and you will be able to figure something out that does something kind of similar. As best as you can. But the reason we're doing it inside of Kartra is because we don't have any limitations, and we have the email autoresponder, which is really robust. So we're going to do it all inside of Kartra, like I said, and I'll show you, and then you'll be able to, if you know your landing page, you'll know the workarounds, I'm sure. If not, just go over to the Facebook groups of your landing page software and ask them for the workaround, and there should be somebody that'll be able to help you with that as well. So we start with the webinar registration. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose this one. So let's go to edit, okay, and then it will come in and we'll edit it. And then we're inside here. So as you can see here, we've got our title. This is all pretty much laid out as good as you need. Now, just to show you how responsive it is, look at that. How amazing is that? This has all been thought about. All of these pages, all of these blocks, everything are thought about inside of Kartra. So when you change anything, it's pretty much always, unless you really mess around with the structure, which is actually quite hard to do really, because they've kind of laid it all out in such a way, this is always going to work on whatever platform you're using. So it's really cool. So so yeah, and then you can just come in here. I'm obviously created my title, so you can change the color here, you can change the size, you can change the font, and you can obviously change the text, right? And the same here, same here, same here. And you can kind of remove anything by clicking that. If you have an image in here, you can kind of resize it. There's a little arrow you can resize, and you can obviously change all this, put in your date here. Okay. And then you can see, I've actually created this sometime in the future, simply because if you land on this page after the live event, it's going to go to the webinar over page, right? Because that's what we want. We don't want people signing up for a webinar that's already happened. As you can see here. So this is already thought about. So I'm not going to change this, but what you would do is you would change this to your date. Okay, so this might be, this is March 2021, but you might make this, this Thursday at a certain time, and then you would put here, you would redirect them, okay, to live webinar. Okay, so this is the funnel, don't forget, and this is the page, so the event over page. Okay, and that would mean that when the countdown reaches 0, so after this, nobody can sign up for this live event up until the time it starts, right? And then afterwards, we don't want them signing up for this live event. We want them to go to the webinar over page. So if they click on a link from an old Facebook ad or from their email, after this event, it's going to go straight to that webinar over page. That's why I love Kartra. So we press apply here, that's done. Okay, and then that is now all configured and ready to go. And then the next page we want is the actual webinar countdown page. So that's this page here. So we'll go into edit and we're going to edit this page. And then what we want to do here with this page is obviously we want to put the time and date that it's going to start. And we also want to put a countdown timer to the time and day that it's going to start. And with this countdown timer, we want to have that redirect to the live webinar page. So you can either have this redirect into YouTube, or you can have this redirect into the live webinar page that we've already got created, depending on how you're doing it. And we do this via the countdown. I think it's the same in ClickFunnels as well. You do it via the countdown. Okay, you can even put a button to join the live webinar here. So if it's, if that page exists, then it will just say waiting. Because when you create this in YouTube, which I'm going to show you in a minute, obviously, I'm going to show you how to set that up in YouTube. It will actually have the waiting page on the landing page, or if you send them to YouTube, it will have that on there as well. So you can put a button on here. That's always good because people will come back to this page. And then you want to put some indoctrination. So this is where it's advisable to create a video of you, usually with your face, so people can put a name to a face. Sometimes they've seen an ad, sometimes they don't even know who you are, right? So this is sometimes the first time they've ever seen you. So you can talk to camera, you can say to people, look, hi, my name's Paul Murphy, this is my underwater basket weaving webinar, and this is what I'm going to show you. And you can start indoctrinating, you can start talking about what they're going to be going through. So I'm actually going to show you this, I'm actually going to show you that. It's really important that you turn up live, because I've actually got some bonuses for people who turn up live. You can actually mention some of those bonuses. I mean, obviously we don't normally tell people that we've got a pitch at the end if we've got a pitch, but we can say that there's going to be some bonuses, there's going to be some cash prizes, there's going to be some things that you can only get by turning up live. There's going to be an offer at the end that you're only going to get turning up live. You can say things like that. And then also it's really important to give them a bit more training here and give them a little bit more, idea is to get them more interested, because at the moment all they've done is they've signed up for a little very, very quick thing, right? They've sparked interest. So we want to make sure that this is properly indoctrinating them. This is really getting them juiced up and fired up for your training. So that is why that's really important. And then you can put some things here like, it's good to block out an hour and a half or however long your hour is, however long your webinar is. Show up early, claim your seat, with obviously it's kind of unlimited with YouTube, but there is a limit with things like Webinar Jam, Every Webinar, and they don't know that you haven't gone through some of those, right? So you can kind of create a bit of scarcity here. Say, make sure you grab your seat. Use a desktop computer rather than a tablet or mobile, because people get a better experience. They can make notes, and also statistics show that people don't generally watch all the way through live events as much on mobiles or tablets. That's why we kind of urge them to do that. And you can even say that inside your indoctrination. And then if you wanted to put your link to your PDF or your bot, so you're basically indoctrinating them into your bot, you can actually mention this in the video, and you can put the link, grab your PDF here, and then it will basically say continue as your name via the bot, and then it will forward them to your Facebook group, so they can join your Facebook group to get it. You can tell them to do that, and then it will obviously then ping to the messenger bot, so you can actually then set up your messenger bot to let them know when the event's going to go live as well. Really, really powerful, because by doing that, people are you'll get a higher show up rate. A really high show up rate is really good. Is a really good thing, because obviously you've already got them this far. You don't want to lose them where they don't really check their email. So it's really powerful. And that's pretty much it, really. And then obviously I'm just going to show you how to configure this to the timer, so that we can make sure that this does what we want it to do, right? So inside of Kartra, what we can do is when the countdown reaches 0, we just forward them to the live webinar page. So this countdown page automatically forwards to the live webinar page, because they've already opted in, so they've already done that. So if they come back to this page at any time, that's fine. We're happy to forward them straight to the live webinar. We don't want to miss it. And we just do that through here. We just choose the category, which again is our live webinar, and then we choose the page, which is our live webinar page, or we might put our YouTube URL in here. If you want to do that, you can actually select regular URL here. Okay, so you can actually do that, put them to the YouTube URL once you've created the live event. So obviously we haven't done that yet, so we're going to do that in a moment. So you just need to make a note to come back and do that, and then press apply. And then how you would then do that is go publish live event here, and then that's done. Okay, and you can give it, you know, when you I'll just show you this actually, because if those of you who've never used Kartra before, might come in handy. When you publish a page, it's going to give you a gobbledygook Kartra URL, and then what you do is you come down here. I'll show you it actually. You'll see it'll be this thing here, and then it'll have some gobbledygook at the end, and then you can select your own domain. Once you've connected your own domain to Kartra, it's really simple, and then you can call it what you want, press that tick button, and that's done. Okay, so that is now your done on your domain. So and that's another good thing as well. You know, Facebook traffic, like paid traffic sources, don't always like it when you send to you know, to Webinar Jam and places like that, because it's like, it's not your own website, right? And they do sometimes get a bit funny about it. But the great thing about this is all going to be hosted on your own domain. Okay, so that's done, and then we can go to publish live, and then once we've done that, we return to dashboard. So that's the second page. So that's really cool. So we'll go back to we'll just select our funnel again, and that's live webinar. Here we go. And then we'll just go back to our diagram, and we'll just see what we've got left to do. So we've got the webinar over, we've got the live webinar, we've got the webinar countdown page, we've got the webinar registration. So yeah, we've done all that. So brilliantly. So now what we now need to do is create our email sequence. Okay, and we want to make sure as well, when they sign up for this webinar, we want to make sure that they're going to be indoctrinated in this sequence. Okay, now if you're using ClickFunnels and you haven't got the 297 package with their own email autoresponder, one of the autoresponders I recommend you can get, I think it's 500 subscribers for only $9 a month, is ActiveCampaign. Now I've used ActiveCampaign. I think ActiveCampaign is brilliant. I'll put a link down below here if you haven't got an autoresponder. And if you don't want an autoresponder for this, to be honest with you, it's not going to work very well, because we need to be notifying them when we're going live. We need to be sending them emails, and this is another way for us to indoctrinate people. Again, inside of Kartra, it comes on the base package. If you sign up for Kartra for 2 years, $69, right, you get I think it's 2,000 email, and they've got a really robust service, and they've got, like, you can actually create landing pages inside of emails, and they deliver amazing. So I've obviously created all this for you inside of here if you want to do that, but I'm actually going to show you how this works. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that they're signed up via your registration page. Now how we do this is via a form. Okay, so this is going to connect to a form. So I'm actually going to show you the form. Again, I've included the form inside of here, so it's all integrated and connected. You don't need to worry if you're going to get this off me. But I'm actually just going to show you here the form and how to set that up inside of there it is. This is the live webinar opt-in. So the first thing you do is come in here, create a form if you're creating this yourself from scratch, and then you go to edit. And then all you need to do is make sure that this is going to do all the things that we need. So we collect a name and email address. I won't show you that. That's pretty straightforward. And then we go for a single opt-in, and then we make sure that we're going to put them on the webinar countdown page. Okay, so this is a success page. So when you're creating this form, just make sure that this goes to that webinar countdown. So once they've opted in, we obviously want them straight on the webinar countdown page. So that's that done. Okay, and then we go to save and next, and then we can send them a welcome message if we want to, but because we're putting them into a sequence, we don't do that. This is a good opportunity if you're just creating an opt-in form for something where we're just sending them something straight away and there's no sequence. Okay, so we don't do that, and then we are going to put them into a sequence. So we need to assign a tag, register for live webinar. We subscribe. We've actually even created a list for you for that, for live webinar. So you've got your own list of people that have signed up for the live webinar. And then we want the sequence to start. Thank you, you are registered. Now this is the sequence we've created. Okay. So again, if you're creating this from scratch, you'll have to come back and reconfigure this bit, right? Because you won't be able to subscribe them to a sequence that doesn't exist yet. So there's a little bit of back and forth when you're creating it from scratch. But again, like I say, I've created it all for you. So you don't have to do all this. And then the form design, I just leave that used in Kartra page, okay? Because we're not creating a form that we're using separately. We're basically just creating this so that this is doing all the actions we need inside that form we've already created, and that's it, done. And then we go back to our pages, and then we're going to go to live webinar. And then how we connect that in here. So this is going to do everything we need. So this is going to opt them in, and then it's going to subscribe them to the sequence. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to set that up in a moment. So don't worry if you're doing this from scratch yourself. I'm actually going to show you exactly how to do that in any autoresponder, but I'm showing you inside a Kartra, but it's pretty much going to be a similar principle depending on what autoresponder you're using. If you haven't got one, I recommend Active Campaign. I've still got an Active Campaign account. I'll put a link down below. And so there you go. So this is the form. So we're going to go back to edit this. And then what we want to do here is where it says claim your seat, we want to we can actually change the button here. We can change the color by doing this bit here. We can change the text, claim your seat. We can put an icon in the button if we want to, and the link is a pop-up opt-in form. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're basically telling it to pop up this form. Now you can choose one of their pre-configured forms, you can create your own, or you can kind of use one of these and sign it up. So I've created this one here. Okay, and then this is the form. So obviously, because this is popping this up, register for the training, we can obviously put the date in here. Where shall I send you access to this event? Okay, now this is really good. Okay, now this is a little ninja trick that we figured out. If you want to get a real email address and not a fake one, because quite often what people do is we have, like a lot of us will have, right, 2 email addresses, one that we kind of don't use and one that we do. If you want to get people to kind of get your stuff to your main email address where they're actually going to open it, you want to give them a call to action that's going to suggest that we need that email address, or you need to give us your email address for your convenience. And the way we do that is we just put, where shall I send you access links to the event? Okay, because that people don't overthink this, they're just going through this in a very fast manner. So if we do that, we just put, where shall I send you access to this live event? And then they kind of get to opt in straight away. And then they're going to put in, quite often they'll put in their main email address because they're thinking, well, okay, I might not log into that other one on the day. Again, this happens so fast in the brain, right? We don't even know it's happening. And we do that, we always put something like that so that people will put their real email address in, because obviously they do want to be notified. They do want, this is for their benefit as well, right? This is not just so that we're getting a real lead. It's more for their benefit as well, because we obviously want to make sure that they are notified. So it works both ways. And then this is where we then connect this bit to the form. So this bit here, we just choose the right form. And this is the form here, look, live webinar opt-in, apply. And this is already taken care of because we just did it. And that's it, that's done. So that now opts them into the main webinar event. Okay, and that's done. We've already done the link, so that's all completed. So we have now completed the funnel. So the only thing left to do now is the YouTube channel. So what we need to do is we need to set up a new YouTube account. So if you've not used YouTube, it's really, really straightforward. You just need a Gmail account. And then once you've got your Gmail account, you can go over to YouTube, okay? And you can literally sign in. So if you haven't signed in, you sign in with your Gmail account, okay? And then you will come, like this is kind of where you'll be. I mean, that literally takes 5 minutes. I'm not going to train you on that. There's a million videos on YouTube that will train you on that. I obviously want to keep on track here with what we're doing, but that's pretty straightforward. But you do need to verify your account, and you do need to create live streaming. And again, it's very, very quick, but I am going to show you that bit because that's important. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to come over to this button here and press YouTube Studio Beta. Okay, and then you come into here, right? And then you've basically, let's just dismiss that. And then you'll see that it looks like this. Okay, now this beta may be gone by the time you come in here, but it's going to look very similar to this. And then you come over to other features and you'll go to live events and you'll click that. Okay, and then it's going to bring you to here. Now the reason that I am not clicking all this is because I've actually had to log out and log back into the actual account where this is already done. So, but I'm just showing you how this works. And then you'll see that when you press that, it says enable live streaming, and then it will come to here and it will say you need to verify your account. So all you need to do is put in either a text verification code, or they will call you, and then you just choose your own country, do that, they will actually call you, you then verify, and then you're done. And once we've done all that, we then come to live events again, and this will actually say create live event. So once we've done all that, you'll be able to come back in here, and this will allow you to create a live event. So we're going to create a live event, so I can show you this, okay? And then we're going to create a live event now, and we're going to call it, we'll call it Affiliate Tube Success, because that's the name of my course. And we're going to do it in some weird time in the future, just so that we can make sure that it stays there, okay? And you can obviously put a description in here if you want to. You can tag it as well if you want to, if you want people to find it. And also what you can do is you can enable live chat if you want to. Some cool features in here as well. You can allow this to be embedded somewhere else. Okay, we're going to embed this on the live webinar on our page, so we want to tick that, okay? And we can promote this through stuff when it's live if you want to. And you can make video statistics on the watch page publicly visible. This will tell you what this means. Okay, video statistics on the watch page can be accessed by clicking on the chart icon below the video. Okay, so you can also see you can allow comments. Now you can actually hold all comments for a review, hold potentially inappropriate comments for a review. So that's kind of cool. So you can do that. So you could perhaps tick that. That might be a good idea. And then you can sort by newest first. Now newest first is where you get that live effect. So I would recommend by sorting by newest first, because this is a live event, okay? And viewers will be able to see back to 12 hours while you're streaming. Now this is if you want this to be a true live event, you would untick this, because this is, if you want this to be like a live webinar, people cannot turn up to your live webinar normally on Webinar Jam and go back. So I would untick that for a live event. So we'll untick that, okay? And if we want, we can have low latency, ultra low latency, which actually gives us slightly less video quality, but it's actually slightly faster. Now, if you're interacting with your audience and you're asking them questions, there's going to be a delay based on this. Now, you can have, I usually actually tick low latency. I don't usually tick ultra low latency. There's going to be a few seconds delay. So if you're literally, if you're interacting with your audience and you're waiting for comments to actually see, engagement, then you might want to tick ultra low latency. You lose a slight amount of quality depending on how fast your internet is. But low latency, ultra low latency, absolutely fine. Normal latency, you will have a slightly longer time between. If you ask somebody a question on the webinar and you're looking for their reply, there's going to be a slightly longer time, but it's going to be slightly higher quality. So again, that is personal choice. That's up to you. Okay, and then that's pretty much it, and that's pretty good. So we can save the chat. We can create the event here. And as you will see, we've actually got this created on our channel, and we're going to come to our live webinar funnel, and then we're going to come to our live webinar page, which is here. Okay, and then we can go and edit. Right, and then we come into here and we would just put in our YouTube link here. Now I will show you, I'm obviously not going to save this, but this will actually show you no, that was wrong. Let me do this. So we get the share link here, copy that, and then we come into here, and then we put the share link in there, and then this will actually say live event coming soon. When this goes live, but again, I'm not going to do that because I've actually created this whole template for you, and I've actually put a webinar in there which is actually using the perfect webinar script that you can actually use when you're creating your webinars. So I'm going to undo that so you can actually see that's inside there, and then when you actually see this live, you'll see I've got some Facebook code inside of here which will be specific to your funnel. So this will actually give you a chat on the right hand side that will only be specific to your webinar, and also I've obviously put this and also I've put this down here where you can actually configure your product, and you can actually have this appear at the point inside your webinar. So once you've created your webinar and you know roughly at what time your offer is going to appear, you can actually have this countdown appear here, which will actually run for, you can actually set this to run for 24 hours or 48 hours after your event. And how you would do that is you would just select your event date here and just add a day or add 2 days here. and then you can redirect them to the event over once this is done, and this will actually then redirect the whole page, so they won't be able to see this. And then obviously you've got a button here that you can reconfigure, and you can put them to your product. You can obviously change the wording on here because that's not very good, but I've just put that for a general thing, and then you can link that to, at the moment it doesn't link to anything, but you can put the link for your custom URL to your product. And then what you can do here, because you'll see that everything's done in blocks in Kartra. So this block here has got basically the webinar and the chat. This block here has got the countdown and the purchase of product. And then what you can do inside of here, if you come into this little pencil down here where it says delay, you can actually have this on every visit. So people are only generally coming to this page on your live webinar, right? So you can actually set this, they do it in seconds, so you can just calculate however many seconds it is roughly to your offer, and then this will appear, okay? And all you need to do is basically toggle that to delay this section, press apply, and then you'll notice that when we go live on this will not appear until a certain point within the webinar, okay? And this is very, very similar to what you can do inside a Webinar Jam. So we kind of emulated it as much as possible. So if you want to use this page, this will stream live from YouTube to this page because you've put the link in here, and this is all now configured to do that. If you want to go send them straight to YouTube, you can do that. Either or works. But I've created this page for you inside of Kartra if you wanted to grab this funnel. So this is so I've created this page here, and you can see, look, somebody's put here, hi Paul, just let you know I like what you're teaching, I'm a Kartra convert from through. So this is specific to this page. Now, because this is like 2 years in the future and lots of people are purchasing this product, people are actually making comments. As you can see, I've actually deleted a few on here as well because I wanted to keep this nice and simple. Now, the next thing I want to do is show you the email sequence, and then I'm going to show you how, when you're ready to go live, how you go live. So the email sequence is next. I'm actually going to talk you through how we set that up inside of Kartra. And then, yeah, like I say, the last thing we'll do is I'm actually going to show you how you can go live on YouTube. It's slightly technical, but it's really, really easy once you know how to do it. Once you've done a couple, super easy. So we'll come back into Kartra, and we're going to return to dashboard, and we're going to go into our email sequence. Now, if you are doing this from scratch, what I recommend you do is go to My Communications. The first thing I would recommend you do is create a list and call it Live Webinar, okay? And then you can put a public description. I usually call it the same, okay? We've already done that inside of here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to sequences. Now, you would go to Add Sequence, okay? And you would call it Live Webinar, okay? And public description, again, you could call it the same. Now, I've already created this, so we're going to go in here, and as you can see, I've actually got people signed up for this, even though I think people are obviously testing it out on their own things. It's actually because it's actually I've got a dummy of this. I actually show a dummy of this on another website, so people are actually signing up so they can see how it works. But I've actually now got this switched off. So you want to make sure when you're ready to go live, this is on. But for now, you want it like this because you're working on it and you don't want people opting in from anywhere. And then what you do is you'll go to edit. Okay, so once you've created your sequence here, you'll come into it here and you go to this little button here, which is edit. And if you ever want to clone it, you can do that here. Okay, so we're going to go into edit, and I'm going to show you how this works. So what I've done here is I've created very, very similar pages to what you would get from the autoresponders inside of places like Webinar Jam, EverWebinar, GoToWebinar, Demio, those sort of places. I've actually created those based on the dynamic times that we're actually going live. So as you can see in here, we've got a thank you, you're registered. I'm actually going to show you this. Okay. Now, if you actually want to, inside of Kartra, you can view or edit. If you just press the view, the little I that we just pressed, we don't damage anything. So I'm going to quickly show you it, and then I'll show you how you can edit it inside of Kartra if you're creating this in Kartra. Okay, so as you can see here, we've put here, you're registered for the live event. Hello, first name, because we've collected their first name. You're successfully registered for the upcoming event. Join with your unique link at the scheduled time, and you put the join link. And then this join link here is now just to the live event page. So they can press it now if they want to, but again, it's going to show them that the live event is coming soon. Okay, and then they can add it to their calendars as well. I've even included that on here, so they can press that, add to iCal, add to Google, add to Outlook, and I've even included all the bits on there that do it for you. Okay, now obviously what you want to make sure that this is connected to this time, so I'll show you that in a moment. And then how to join event, simply click on the uni link 5 to 10 minutes before. Note, this join link should not be shared with others. It's unique to you. Okay, and some people actually say share this with others. Okay, you can actually change that. If you are wanting more people to show up, you can say share this with others. It'd be really good to see your friends on the event. Okay, this is kind of just taken from what you see on webinar landing pages. And it says here, if you have any questions, issues with this process, you can contact me. The event cannot coordinate, and then you just put your email in there, right? So it's really, really straightforward. And then I've even put a little lightning thing here as well, emoji, which will actually stand out in the, it actually increases open rates by putting something like that as an emoji, so that when they're getting hundreds of emails on a daily basis, they can see a little lightning. It works really well. And that's that, and that's done. Okay, so I'm actually going to now go in and edit it. So I'm going to show you what we do here. Okay, as you can see, obviously this is all blocks. This is very, very similar to the landing pages inside of Kartra. Now you can do a basic one or you can do an advanced one. Now I've obviously got some things on here that look kind of cool. So you've got the advanced one here, but you can actually do a very basic, which looks like a normal email. But there's also some design templates that you can do down here. So you can actually have full templates. You can use any of these templates and customize them to make the email look like a landing page. It's really cool. And then when you've done them, you can actually save your own templates for use in the future. So once you've basically configured all this, you might want to save it as a template instead of having to go back and configure everything with your join link and everything again. You can just configure it to match the email. So that's what I recommend actually. Once you've done all this, save it as a template, go back into the one that I've created, get rid of that, and then just put this one back in and just change the bits that need to be changed. It just makes it a lot quicker. And then what you would need to do on this, I'm actually going to put a link down in the description, because obviously this is not configured because it's going to literally add the time and date of your event, not mine. So I've obviously left this blank for you, but I'll put the link to the HubSpot. You'll see on this page, you can actually see how to configure all of those. So that's why I recommend doing this once and then literally saving this as a template and adding it in for your others. So it's really, really straightforward. You can do it for iCal, which is iPhone, and Apple devices, Google, obviously Google Calendar, and Outlook is there. I recommend putting those in and then and leaving those in and getting those configured at least once. It only takes a couple of minutes. And as I say, this is the article on HubSpot. You can see, look, how to insert Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, and Outlook events, and it shows you how to do each one. Very, very straightforward. And then once you've done it once, save this whole page as a template. So we'll save that. Well, I'll save that now and I'll show you. Okay, so that's been saved, and then that will come back in here. And then the way that we save this entire page is edit up the top here. And then once you've done that, that is done. And then all we need to do with the other pages is we go in, this one's 24 hours live. So the first thing we want to change is obviously the date and time here. The last one was immediately after, so that's already set for you. You don't need to change that one. This one you need to change to the date, which is basically the exact time of your event, but 24 hours before. So you just minus one date there. That's done. Okay, and then you go. And that's again great for Kartra because we can actually select a date, and some of the other autoresponders don't allow us to select a date. So that's what's really cool. And then this is going to say 24 hours till the live event starts. So we go edit here. Okay, and then what I recommend we do here is we're going to, the only bit we're really going to save is 24 hours until we go live. So I'm actually going to, the rest of it's exactly the same. There is nothing else that's different. So if we just make a mental note of that, and then we go to delete the whole thing, because we saved the template, if you remember. If we go to my templates, drop that in there. Okay, and then we're going to just put in 24 hours until we go live. Okay, and then that is basically, because we've all configured all this already, that's already done. And then all we literally need to do is press edit, and we do exactly the same thing here. 1 hour before, again, we change the date to literally the time 1 hour before the event. And then we just drop in, we take the whole thing out, drop in the template, and we just copy the title. You know, or we can put in something similar. And then we do this again exactly 15 minutes before. I'll just show you this one so you can see. So this one, it says we're about to go live. As you can see, look, that live event is 1 p.m. So we send this out at 15 minutes before. Okay, it says we're going live. Again, we do exactly the same thing. So we would then drop in the template. I would delete all of that. In fact, we don't need to add it to calendar. So in fact, what we can do here is we could, in effect, we could leave this in and literally just change that date and add the links. That might be easier. Or we could drop the template in and just make sure that we're copying what that is and taking out the bit of adding it to calendar. There's no point adding it to calendar when we're going live, right? We want them to go now. So that's, that's all configured for you and that's done. And you can literally do something very similar inside of your own autoresponders, as long as your autoresponder will allow you to do time and date, right? And the last thing I want to show you now is we're going to go over and I'm going to show you how to go live on YouTube. So we've come to your event. Now I recommend turning up at least an hour to half an hour before so you can get everything configured, so you give yourself enough time so you're not going to be late, and then we're going to go live. Right, so to go live on your event, it's pretty straightforward. You go to your live events here and then you would click Start Hangout on Air. And then this will pop up. Now, what I recommend you doing is having, if you've got a webinar page where you're actually going live with your Facebook chat thing on the right hand side, and you have enabled chat on the YouTube live stream as well, the Google Hangouts on Air, then you obviously want to have both of these pages open. Now, a couple of little things here is obviously turn up a bit early, grab a glass of water, and also turn off all your distractions. Okay, so you want to turn off notifications here, you want to switch that off, and you want to switch off all your devices, and you want to make sure no one else in your household is using up too much of your internet bandwidth, because streaming live, it takes up a fair bit. And then you're set. And then once you've actually clicked that, it will say Start Hangout on Air. Now this doesn't actually make you go live, this just brings up this page here. If you are just going live on YouTube, you don't need to go to YouTube to see everything you need to do. You can see it all within here, which is really cool. Okay, so the chat box can appear on the right hand side. Now, if you've enabled chat, this will appear here. And there's a couple of things I'm just going to go through here. Now, your settings, you can choose your camera. Now, obviously, whatever camera you're using, or if you're not using a camera, quite often I don't use a camera, you can select your microphone and you can select internal speakers, but you're going to get feedback and it's going to be delayed. So what I often do is I'll select the microphones, I'll plug my microphones in and I'll turn my sound down. Okay, so by turning the sound down, people will still be able to hear you. You won't hear stuff coming through your headphones, because as you imagine, like when you run a live webinar, you're not really listening to anything, you're just talking. So that's a good thing here. And then you can obviously play a test sound to see whether you can hear. But you obviously won't need to hear anything in general. So that's how you can set that up. So that's these settings up the top here. This is where you're going to start your broadcast, okay? And obviously I've turned my mic and my camera off because I'm actually recording. It tends to mess with it and it doesn't seem to like it. So you would do that. You would switch these on prior to starting your broadcast. And this is again for your chat, so you can actually see all the chat coming in, so you can see everything that's going on right within inside of here. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to share your slides or your screen share or whatever it is that you're sharing. So I'm going to select my keynote slides here, which is here, and this is actually a webinar I'm going to be running very shortly. So this is the one I'm going to use. And then we just choose application window, and then we just choose our presentation, and then that will appear. We'll be able to see that, and we can hide that. And then you'll be able to see inside of here, you'll be able to see your presentation is raring to go, and you can see all the chats. And then if you've got your presentation open on a monitor, you can start the presentation, you'll be able to see it in real time. The only time you're ever really going to need to see this is if you're looking at the chat, okay? And then you can switch on your microphone. Okay, so I'm not going to do that because obviously you'll be able to, it will just mess with the fact that I'm using the microphone to record this at the moment. So we're not going to do that. And then you would press start broadcast. So I'm actually going to start, I'm actually not going to start broadcast because this is on a channel I don't want to start a broadcast on. And then when you're finished your presentation, you stop the broadcast, and that's pretty much it. Now there's you can open cameraman if you want to, so you can actually have the cameraman as well. So if you put your I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, it would be down here. So we're going to switch that off because I'm already using the camera for recording. It's not working. But then you would choose obviously you would select all these, and you can do that inside these settings anyway. You can actually select which camera you want to use, like for instance that one. Again, it's not coming up simply because I'm using it for this recording at the moment. The microphone, which is the one I'm using, and yeah, the speakers, and obviously just make sure you turn the sound on. And that's it. And once you've stopped the broadcast, that's it. That go in there. And if you need to see your chat, you need to come to this window, check your chat, or your window if you've got it open inside of Kartra. Inside of here, you need to just check this as well, because for interaction with your audience. And that's it. That is a complete live webinar system. Now, if you want to grab this funnel inside of Kartra, basically I promised you that at the end of the video I was going to actually make this available. Now, there's a couple of things you can do. Now, if you want to create webinars like this inside of Webinar Jam, they've got all the landing pages and everything all integrated, and they've got their own live webinar system, so you don't need to use Google Hangouts. Then you can have 60 days free access to Webinar Jam, whatever webinar. I'll put the links down below here. And that's full access, and I think Webinar Jam's $1, every webinar's free. You do need to put your card in, but then you will be billed after 60 days. But then you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So in effect, you get 90 days free, right? I'll actually unlock my free traffic course, which is this course here. Now, this course will actually show you how to get all the traffic you need inside of Google and YouTube completely for free. This is groundbreaking stuff that we've figured out. You actually get this completely for free if you want to try Kartra with me. You get 14 days trial for complete access to Kartra for $1, and I'll even give you the live webinar and auto webinar funnel. Now, you just need to let me know that that's what I've promised you on this video. When I send you an email, when you opt into my thing and I send you an email with all the links and everything, just reply and let me know when you've done it, and say unlock your 997 course plus live webinar and auto webinar. As long as you let me know, that I make sure that those are unlocked for you as well. Yeah, that's okay. It's only $1 to trial, and you'll get all of those landing pages, and actually you get all the training that I just gave you in this video, but a little bit more in depth. It's broken down into sections, so I actually show you how to set up everything a little bit more in depth as well on there, and you get all the training for that. And there's other funnels as well if you want to find out about those and what those do. They're in there as well. And like I say, this is like a full extensive free module course that shows you absolutely everything you need to get free traffic inside of YouTube. All the other links of anything else that I think is relevant or that might help you, that I'll put down below in the description as well, so go and check those out. And if you like my video, please subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. I've got a ton more videos coming out to do with webinars, to do with creating webinars, and actually to do with free traffic strategies. I've really enjoyed this today. I'll see you in the next video.